everyone, Miss Carrie here from Miss Carrie's Creations. Today I am sharing the design of a stunning wedding scrapbook layout that's bursting with layers. As I create this layout, I will be introducing you to a new mixed media item that I recently added to my craft space, and I'll provide some helpful tips for incorporating these new paints on your projects. This month I was asked to be a guest designer and share the June Colors kit from Shimmerz Paints. It includes a variety of double-sided pattern papers adorned with succulents, spring florals, and soft patterns. There are also 2 cut-apart pages included in this kit. This paper and paint bundle includes matching sprays and inks. I like this soft pipe cream spritz and the Don't Be Swayed colorings. The Rip Van Periwinkle Vibes is a gorgeous color, and the 2 shimmers named Iris My Case and Pull Me Close coordinate perfectly with the patterns in the pack. To complement the collection, there's also a package of Felicity Jane title stickers, epoxy flare dots, and an SVG design. As I create today's project, I will add a few additional supplies to my layout. You can find a list of those supplies along with a link to the Shimmerz shop in the description below. I have a lovely collage of wedding photos that I want to place in these wooden frames. These frames are part of this background page, and I want to combine them with these gorgeous succulents. The colors of these are a perfect match to the items in these wedding photos. To make this a little easier, I'm going to cut out the frames and the succulents. This will allow me to add a little bit of Shimmerz paint behind those frames and layer a few of the cut-apart pieces behind these elements. I'm going to go off camera real quick and cut these out, and then I'll start adding some of the paints to my page. With a craft knife, ruler, and scissors, I cut out all the images for the background patterns. At the base of the page, I'm going to layer these beautiful succulents, and my frames are going to sit horizontally across the layout. My photos are already attached to those wooden frames. I used Canva to make them the right size, printed them out with my photo printer, and cut this circular shaped photo using a die. Now that I know where everything's going to sit, I'm going to bring in some of the Shimmerz paints to my background. I'm starting with the pipe cream spritz, and I'm going to mist this across the page. Spritz paints are soft iridescent sprays with a little bit of shimmer. The pigment is quick drying and it's easy to clean up. As you can see, it was really easy to wipe this up from my glass board. I'm going to try to hold this up to the camera so that you can see that subtle shimmer in the paint. Before I add another layer, I'm going to quickly dry this with a heat tool. My background paper is a mixed media paper that I chose for my paint layers. I find that it holds up much better to wet mediums that I add to my projects. If you wish to spray directly onto pattern papers, I do suggest adding a layer of gesso first. That just helps those shimmers stand out a little bit more. Now that the first layer of paint is dry, I'm going to add some texture with paste. On my glass board, I'm mixing the Don't Be Swayed colorings with some fluffy texture paste. Colorings are another spray in the Shimmerz product line, and they are highly pigmented. These paints do not have any shimmer, and most of them have a lovely matte finish. I have mixed Shimmerz paints with opaque paste, grit paste, glitter paste, acrylic paint, and chalk paint. I find that the color and shimmer intensity changes a bit with each of the mixes, but I've never had an issue with them not mixing well together. Now, you might have noticed that I roll the bottles before I spray them. Most of the pigment settles to the bottom of the bottle, and rolling them is much more effective than shaking. It also helps the pigment from getting into the spray tube, which can clog the nozzle. If for any reason the nozzle does get clogged, I just remove the spray cap from the bottle, soak it in some hot water, and then after a few hours I pump the hot water through the tube and the nozzle, and it cleans out all of the clogs. Alright, now that the stenciling is complete, I'm going to let this dry and then I'll assemble my layout. With some foam tape, I am going to attach the succulent border to the base of the page, and then I will layer the frames over the top of the stenciled background. I love how this turned out. That background is perfect for wedding photos. Before I add some of the cut apart pieces, I do want to add a little more color around the frames with the Pull Me Close shimmers. Now, shimmers are some of my favorite paints to use. Shimmers are vibrant, water-based paints with lots of sparkle. This pigment is very thick and rich, which is why I often water it down to lessen the intensity of the color. Because I want this color to really pop behind those frames, I'm just grabbing it right from the lid of the jar and adding it behind those frames with a paintbrush. Over these, I will be layering a few items from the cut apart pieces, and the Shimmerz paint is going to really make those layers stand out. I'm going to start by adding this large birdhouse at the base of my page. I'm placing it below the photo of the couple to give emphasis to this side of the layout and draw your eye to that primary photo. On the opposite side of the page, I'm going to add a succulent and purple hydrangea behind the wooden heart. I like how the hearts on these frames create a natural area to build your clusters. After I finished the cluster in the upper right corner, I started adding some more hydrangeas around the birdhouse. This creates a nice visual triangle on my layout. Visual triangles are a way that you can create a sense of balance on your pages. When you place items in a triangular formation, the eye is naturally drawn to the focal point, which in this case is all my photos. The wedding colors were lilac and emerald green, and most of the floral arrangements were filled with lavender. So I'm also bringing those colors and botanicals to this page. While I continue to adhere these items in place, I would love it if you tap that subscribe button and let me know that you're new here. If you're already a subscriber, let me know that you enjoyed today's video by tapping that thumbs up icon or leaving a comment below. I would love to know if you are also one who enjoys Shimmerz paints or if these are new to you. As I said earlier, I am making sure that I build some nice visual triangles of images around those frames and in the border below to create a balance on this layout. Doing this also creates a sense of flow as I connect the elements in that triangular formation. When you create visual triangles on your layout, you're going to want to vary the size and shape of the elements at each point of the triangle. On this page, most of the weight is at the lower point of the triangle, and it creates a sturdy foundation on the layout. Not only did I form the triangular pattern with hydrangeas, you're also going to be able to see a triangle of hearts, pansies, lavender, succulents, and berries. All right, now that you've gotten another little lesson from me on designing a scrapbook page, I'm going to finish this up and then I'll share the completed layout with you. Across the top of the page, I added some off-white twine and a little bow. The bow was placed directly above the photo of the couple to draw your eye to that area. I also added a little bit more of that gorgeous blue Shimmerz paint behind my clusters of botanicals. I love how that makes them pop. I'm going to share a few close-ups of this layout so that you can see all the beautiful shimmery details. This page records a memory of some of the little items that were found at our son's wedding. The wood frames were a perfect way to highlight all those random little details with a simple photo of the couple. The pattern papers and paints from the June's Colors kit matches perfectly to these items and created an amazing backdrop that highlights those memories. If you're one who enjoys pinning photos to inspiration boards, I have added still shots of this layout on my website for you to use. If you would like more ideas for using this kit, you can join the Shimmerz Paints Shares group on Facebook and see even more designs. I want to thank you for joining me for another scrapbook project. If you have any questions about this project or the supplies listed below, feel free to post that in the comments. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see what you create.